in there and do some good. And everything we did was in his name and for his company. I don't know if he had a company or not, but I never met the real man in charge of that fund. But I met 3 different people that represented them. I'd go to New York and meet one of these 3, whichever one was available. But I never did meet the actually head of the thing. Anyway, I should have started that operation earlier, but of course, what made us successful was crisis around the world. The crisis of Iraq being plummeted for 10 years by Iran gave us an opening there, and earlier they wouldn't be there. We went into Iraq and assessed the situation. The first day we were in Iraq, we were told to come in on a certain date, and we did that, and all 6 of us, and we were escorted to a room in Baghdad, which where we found 140 consultants from all phases of work. The most of the out of the 140, most of them were from U.S. Department of Agriculture, and their job was to get agriculture system back in Iraq as quickly as possible after the war. You know, they had a 10-year war. Iraq and Iran had a 10-year war where they bombed each other and shelled each other and everything like that, and tore up the country and prevented any new exploration of anything. So when we got that under control.
So what were you doing over there with agriculture?
Well, my part was, I wasn't in the agriculture. I was saying of the 140 people, consultants that came in there that day, I mean, at that meeting, at the first briefing, we had oil people, we had gas people, we had refinery people, we had pipeline people, we had agriculture people, we had orchard people, we had water people.
Wow.
We had all these different consultants. And we assembled in a big auditorium in Baghdad, and guess who should show up to welcome us was Saddam Hussein. And he welcomed us and told us what he wanted to do in perfect English. Told a bit about himself. He was a lawyer from University of Cairo with a law degree. And he said that we've had chaos. I remember we had chaos in this country because of dissident group that was talking about the Shiites. But we have that under control, and you'll be safe traveling around the country, and you have our blessings, and you'll have an escort everywhere you go. And so then after about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, he left, and then their number 2 man, I guess, is kind of like a vice president or something like that, told us that we were going to break up into the groups, and the oil people go just to talk with Sami Sharif, who was the Minister of Hydrocarbons. So we found out where his office was, and we went to his office, was another building, and he led us along like this in a trail, one following the other. Went into his office, we all sat down, and he told us about himself, and what we had to do. We had fields that were shut down because if they were flowing, they would be messy on the ground. So all those areas that was close to Iran, they had shut them down and installed anti-aircraft guns, which was the old 140 millimeter aircraft gun that the Navy had, thousands of them on board ships in World War II. Which
so
killed.
we were in good relationships with Sudan.
Yeah.
During this time.
At that time, yeah, he wasn't. He was wasn't a monster. He was a
political figure.
Huh?
Was a political figure.
He's the president of Iraq.
Yeah.
Had been president, I think, for 19 years. they had elections every 4 years, just like we do. And they had a parliament, and had a he was a Sunni Shiite. I mean, a Sunni was a Sunni Muslim, which were the educated Muslims. He'd send a lot of his people to the United States for education. Well, to show what he did when we got over to Sammy Sharif's office, began to introduce himself, and he knew he had an American, he knew he had 2 Canadians, he knew he had an Egyptian, and knew he had a Chinese guy there. And so he said Jeff told about his education. Said he was sent to the United States for an education, and wound up at the University of Texas, and he got a master's degree and PhD all the time. Only going home a couple of times during that 6-year period, and then went to work for somebody, and their dissertation was in Fort Worth Basin. Hello?